Hello. All right. It's morning. It is morning. Let's get ready to party hard. Oh man, Quentin, Orby in the chat. He posted a hilarious GIF. Made me laugh. All right. So this is where I took the concept from yesterday. So the concept from yesterday, I kind of liked the idea of, but obviously it wasn't where I wanted it. But the base was there, so I reconfigured the pose a bit. I came up with the idea that he has like 3D printed exoskeleton because they are technologically advanced, these aliens, but they're also primitive in the sense of how we see advanced civilization. Maybe they are just more in tune with nature, etc. But they do have technology. So hello, Bob, Diego, Roblido, Orby, Georg. How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? So yeah, so that's where I took it. So we know. So now I know where to take it with lineart. So today, to try to save time, or to make it on time, I'm gonna do lineart. Hey Yatsuki, how's it going? So let's start. Let's start the timer. Let's do it. Right. So I started a little bit yesterday. Like did the changes to the concept yesterday on my lunch. So at the moment now, I'm just kind of feeling the concept out a bit with the line art. I like the idea of like an inbuilt roll cage on the face. So I've been deliberately a little bit careful with the lines, just so that I can kind of start feeling out the placement and so on. But I'm digging the character. I like the idea of like a heavy unit that's melee only. I think in a story that could be quite an asset, you know, and that I think I succeeded to make it look intelligent but still powerful. Hey, good day, Beard Bros. Welcome. Good morning. Yeah, so we're what? I think I succeeded in making them look or it look slightly intelligent. I mean, obviously, it's an aggressive character, like we talked about Guardians of the Galaxy and how Groot, etc., or how Groot was not very intelligent but a good guy, and then this red wrestling guy in Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't remember his name. He's also very aggressive, but he is also a good guy, but he's kind of like the anti-hero, right? He doesn't really want to be the hero, or he doesn't care to be the hero in that sense. You know, he's just a bruiser. So that's kind of like the character I'm going for here. That it's okay that he's a little bit armored up and tank like, much like the that kind of alien in Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, where they are these kind of toad-looking aliens that are very aggressive. yet the alien on your team, he is a good guy in a way. So what I'm doing now is just trying to look at the sketch on the right there and figure out the details, you know, like trying to find the rhythm of the pieces, and not everything is there. So it's a little bit of like feeling out process. Like where should something be? I need to think about the concept and the ideas and the execution of them, like how, where, and shape of it, and so on. So it's very much like sketching, but trying to pre-visualize whatever I need to draw while I'm drawing it with secure or confident line. So it's a little bit of a different challenge than usual sketching. So it's like sketching version 2. And a lot of things you gotta let them be floating. Like you should, I can't commit to something yet, because the concept on the right is still very loose but defined at the same time. You know, we can get the direction, but yeah, it's hard to say that this is a clean shape. Bjork, so you think I'm problem solving slower than usual, or that I'm drawing slower than usual, or am I misunderstanding your comment? Good morning, Howard, Captain Balls, Cocoa Claire. What I do for a living, I'm a concept artist for the entertainment industry. So I design characters and creatures and scenarios and environments and machines, etc., for games and movies. So I'm usually the first in line in the process. So whenever they're creating a new intellectual property, and when they don't really know what it should look like, I am usually the guy they hire to help them visualize the idea, and also help them pitch the idea, to sell it to funders, you know, the budget people, the decision makers. So my job involves with around a lot of creative drawing and IP development and idea generation. You know, like not just draw from recipe in that sense. You know, that they hire me to draw someone else's design. I am the guy usually that does the design that someone else's does illustrations for, or models from, or creates art direction from. You know, I help out the art directors a lot in my career, and sometimes I have to step in and act art director when a lot of people, they just have a vague idea of what they want. So I have to kind of go take a step in and start defining rule sets for their visuals, in the sense of me creating a cohesive universe for them, so that when they do see the art, they go, yeah, like option B, that's where we want to go. And then I hand over everything, and they just take it from there, start producing a correct art direction based on their needs and idea and IP. So I just kind of go on to the next client, and then usually what happens is years later they come back saying, "Oh, this is where we took it. Would you and your artists continue?" So we step in and do production concept art, so that, for modelers and the big pipeline of making the product. What usually happens, I'm involved at the beginning before there is a product to help them figure out what it should be. So one of my strengths are just coming up with things and start generating ideas and creating visual coherence. Cocoa Claire, for clients we worked for, our client list is very long. I've been doing this for 10 years. One of the more recent ones was Horizon Zero Dawn. We did work for Battlefield. We did work for a lot of games. A lot. Go to if you go to my website, for example, there's an about section, a very outdated list of clients that I worked for through the studio I work for, and freelance. But yeah, we've done a lot of work for a lot of games. Dead Space, Mafia 3, yeah, there's a long laundry list of things. I can't really sit and think about games I worked on at the moment. Too busy creating. But yeah, there's at least a few name drops. Atsuki, I haven't done work specifically with the Blur, but I'm quite sure we've worked on the same IP, and they have to some degree used the work I and we have worked on by default, that they're making trailers for, but I haven't, or we haven't done specifically for Blur, for the purpose of Blur using our art. But through proxy, doing a previs or whatever, we have crossed paths with Blur. So my job is very different. It relies heavily on me being able to come up with things on the fly and be very creative, and start constructing realities for people, and using my experience to craft something that's you can extrapolate from. Like I always try to say, and I try to push the agenda of being creative and having ideas. The ideas are the hard part for me. In general, like seeing a lot of artists, they're technically really good, but the idea is quite. Usually, what happens is that the ideas are quite generic, and visibly generic. Like you can clearly see, okay, this artist isn't really thinking. They're just doing trendy subjects that looks the same. Hey, Kilrathi, good morning. The one on the top right, it was a 30-minute sketch to kind of from yesterday, and then I spent maybe half an hour more of changing the concept. So a concept like that would take me just an hour maybe. Um, hey, Sayart, welcome back. You're back. Coco Claire, Discord is like a forum program. You can do it on the web or download the application, and the link for this stream's Discord is underneath the stream. So if you just want to join in, all you need to do is really just sign up for an account. You don't need to install anything. You can do it through the web, or if you want to install it and have the application installed, you can do that too. But it's a cool bunch of people hanging out on Discord, sharing art, talking, sharing links and ideas and things. Oh, Georg. All right, that makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you. I'm glad that you find it useful. I mean, I think I switched up the layout of this stream a bit with these two 1 week projects, right? And I think it it interests people in a different way, and I think looking at the statistics, I know the statistics isn't everything, you know, and I shouldn't just look at hits or view counts, but um, doing the 1 week projects, even though it was informative, it didn't generate a lot of traffic. It actually reduced traffic to the YouTube archive because it was probably the thumbnail the same thing every day. You know, there's many factors that probably I influenced in a way beyond the streaming topic, and it could also be the topic itself or the drawing itself I was drawing. So it's not really like set in stone the kind of the negative aspect of it. But just looking at the statistics, um, if I want to continue doing these longer projects with more characters and doing line art and refining them further than just 30-minute, the standard 30-minute random sketch, I think what I got to do is come up with a sexier topic. Um, looking at these ArtStation challenge view counts. The view count on the 30-minute warm-up episodes, they are a lot higher. One of the reasons I think is because there's a lot of people going to the ArtStation, my submission page, and looking at my art and clicking play on the YouTube clip to kind of see what I've been doing. So in that way, I think there's a lot of extra traffic, which is great. But also looking at the statistics, one of the most popular ones by far was the centipede villain. I think that kind of things makes people, or that kind of thing people like a lot more than maybe a little bit more left field concepts, more concepts that maybe push what people would assume concept art should be. Or a lot of my sketchings or sketches are quite different, right? They might be far out or alternative or because I always like to come up with a new idea, and they're not always the naked woman with a large weapon, or a mech or a gun. You know, it's that is not that challenging to do, in that sense that it's the idea itself is already generated. You just need to play with shapes. Um, that being said, um, looking at that centipede one with a lot of views, um, shows me that I can, what the fuck is happening? That I can design something alternative, uh, and still have a higher view count on the episodes, because ideally that is, the one of the reasons why I'm doing these streams is to get traffic and to help build a platform that um, that I want to take to a certain place, right? Create a community for all of you. So traffic is important, and I have to make strategical decisions. But it's quite interesting to look at the statistics and what topic I have been drawing versus view count. So long story short, uh, this ArtStation challenge and doing longer projects have shown me that it is possible to get good traffic for these shorter streams by having a continuing topic, but it's very topic reliant, and also I need to do offline work to help the process get ahead. Hey, Captain Jetlag, good morning. Welcome. I'm just sitting here ranting. Hey, Mean Machine. Kilrathi. Yeah, I was thinking it's like um, biological armor, biological knuckle dusters. You know, one thing that I wanted to do, which I forgot to do, was to beef up the intensity at the knuckles. I forgot that was one of the plans that I wanted to do. But yeah, so the idea is that he grows his knuckle dusters, and so I was thinking that it could be a cool scenario. It gives scope for additional layering, so that you can make it so that when he hits something too hard, they break off. Like at a pivotal time in the story, maybe he punches someone in the face and shatters his knuckle dusters, but they just go back out again. And the idea is that he has like an inbuilt roll cage in his body, because he's built for impact. Um, so it's something that I wanted to have as a running theme through the character, like these organic armor technology, so that it's not by accident that he looks this way. It's like engineered. And the color palette for this guy I chose so that they sit more together um, as a unit. Um, so as you can see, the good guys and this guy, um, they are very close in palette, even though his body is blue and theirs are white, but they go together as a unit because they are on the same side, right? Um, so I think it's time to flip it, just to give my eyes a refresh, so I don't draw something skewed. Alien Gorilla Bull Wolverine. Yup, more or less. I wanted to make a bruiser, or whatever the word I that sprung to my mind yesterday when I was concepting the original sketch was crasher, I think. Breacher, there we go. It was a breacher that he runs through, breaches army lines, or he breaches walls, or he breaches fortifications, just kind of full force jumping in like a gorilla, or rolling in even. He could also do that. And someone, then I forget who, but they said like armadillo uh, shielding. So that's something I also want to play with. That he has like organic armor plates, like an armadillo, but also that he like the original idea of transparent horns on his head. I really loved. I think that is something that I've never really seen before. Is transparent horns. So that's something I really want to maintain through the. If I would draw him from the back and so on, that's something I would love to keep in, as a visual identifier for this character, that he has organic armor and transparent armor. Everyone needs their hook, right? They need to have that things that you understand that they are them, right? Spider-Man has it, Iron Man has it, uh, what was it? Pliskin in Escape from LA has it. Um, and if you're gonna make a monster or a creature like that, you really gotta consider, what accessories can you add to it, but also like what attributes beyond accessories do you have that defines the character. I mean, like if they're only humans, right? All humans look alike, more or less. So what you got to do then is change them up uh, as a personality. Like the crazy gunslinger, the dodgy punk, the drunk, or whatever. And as a creature, usually there isn't these self-explanatory character traits because they don't exist, right? So uh, you can lean on those archetypes of, let's say, a drunk alien, right? It, we don't know what a drunk alien is, and if a drunk or if alien existed, would they be drinking? So that instant connection doesn't exist unless we put the beer can in the alien's hand, right? And then we make that assumption. But the hardest part when you're designing something that doesn't exist, that is completely, the viewer doesn't know. I mean, this thing, you don't know, what it is because you never seen this before, right? So the challenge in these situations are, what can you communicate so that the person, uh, you understands what this character does and doesn't do. Does it like to drink, or does it eat a lot, or is it kind, or is it aggressive? Um, so you got to play with all these attributes that you have to your disposal in pose, weight, color, shape, language, in order to communicate that like in an efficient way. And sometimes, we all have our favorite subjects to draw. or a favorite shape to draw, but sometimes, or most of the times, you really gotta kind of reflect on your own design decisions of I can't draw the same thing again. I have to change my shape language up. I have to change the pose up, because otherwise you're just using the same tools to describe the same character, but for some reason, they, or not for some reason, but they can't be the same because they are different people. But if you don't, you know, change it up, they're just going to read the same. So that's a huge challenge as a designer. Um, that communication of how do you communicate something that no one has seen before, but at first glance they need to just accept it. Especially if you can't show motion, animation, that this is how he walks, and the, you gotta imply it when you're drawing. Georg. Yeah, it's those kind of things are tricky. What decisions do you make to communicate some very abstract idea like a drunk alien? What is a drunk alien? Do they get drunk on ethanol like we do, or is that food for them? you know the only reason we get drunk is because of the ethanol. Our body can't process it. The liver can't process it, so it just makes us drunk. Goes out in the bloodstream because the liver doesn't really know how to clean it. I think that's as far as I understand. So what I'm kind of just drawing now is just going around the concept, looking at the rough, and kind of trying to figure out where can I put marks down to indicate material or change of form. But yeah, we're getting there. I think this was a quite productive. The reasoning why I think I could do more today than tech is that tech has a higher density of information, while form you can be more suggestive and kind of get away with more. So time's up. You got a massive rant as well about my thought process. Um, Thanks everyone for coming out and hanging out with me. Join the Discord underneath if you want. There's cool people there. Follow if you want. Donate if you want. I'm not demanding it. It's all optional. Have a fantastic day, good night, and see you tomorrow at the same time. Bye. Here comes the outro. I need a new outro.